Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about how to be a confident introvert, because confidence is something that is far too often associated with being outgoing and energetic and extroverted, and it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for people who want to be confident but just aren't interested in being the social center of the room. And there's a lot of confidence guys on YouTube that really just focus on teaching the extroverted side of confidence, of being the social center of the room. And some people just aren't like that. There are introverts out there, and you watching this video right now might be an introvert as well. And what I want to assure you of straight away is that of course you can be confident and an introvert at the same time. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that. But of course, if you're new to the channel, welcome to Freedom Through Confidence. My name is Ben. The mission with this channel is to provide confidence and life advice for the average Joe. And one of those problems is not knowing whether or not you can even be confident as an introvert. So let's get into that and talk about the confidence and introversion paradigm and how you can overcome it. Okay, so the first thing to understand is that introversion and extroversion exist on a very contextual scale. So what do I mean by that? Put simply, some people in a certain situation are going to be introverted, and that same person in a different situation might be a lot more extroverted. So for example, if I were to go out to a nightclub on my own, I am going to be pretty introverted because I don't really like being surrounded by a bunch of strangers, and a nightclub is already disorienting enough. So in that situation, I'm going to be very, very introverted, provided of course I don't leave within the first 15 minutes. But if I go out to a nightclub with a group of my friends, then that is when my extroversion will come out, and I'll have a great time, and I'll be dancing, and I'll be talking to people, and it will be amazing. And the chances are that for you exist on this introversion extroversion scale as well. You might not be super confident at big social events and parties, but when you are one-on-one, let's say you are a gamer and you're online in your gaming party, you might be the person that is loud and that does take the center role and that does take leadership. So that's the first thing to understand. Introversion, extroversion, they are not constants, they exist on a scale, and that scale is extremely contextual. The second thing for you to know is that it is perfectly okay for you to be an introvert. You don't have to force yourself to be more extroverted in certain situations. Being introverted simply means that you aren't as comfortable in big group settings, you're not as comfortable in going out and meeting new people on your own. And as I said at the beginning of this video, there is this tendency to think of confidence as just being the loudest, most extroverted, most energetic person in the room. And of course, there is a certain value to that in some situations and not so much in others. But confidence isn't all about being the loudest in the room. It isn't all about being the center of attention. Confidence mainly comprises of two things. That is self-acceptance, so accepting yourself for who you are, knowing that you are enough as you are, and then authenticity, knowing and accepting yourself enough that you are fine with sharing that with other people with little to no fear of being rejected or being judged. That's all that confidence really is. It's just a belief in your worthiness, generally speaking. So if you know who you are, if being more introverted is just who you are, then roll with it. That's your authentic self. Start to take some time to learn how to accept yourself, and I've got other videos about that on this channel, so I'll have a card above my head, leave some in the description as well that you can check out. But learn to accept yourself and then to express yourself in a way that is authentic to you. Now, here is one of the main problems that I come across when it comes to people calling themselves introverted, and that is that people who call themselves introverted can sometimes use introversion as an alternative term for shyness or social anxiety. If you are generally quite a quiet person and you spend more time alone than you do with other people because that's just the way that you prefer to be, that's just what makes your life comfortable. You've got a small group of friends and you go and you see these friends, you come back and you've got to recharge for a couple of days because that was a lot of socializing. If that is who you are, then accept that and roll with it. That's fine. But if you are quiet and you don't try to interact in social situations because you're scared of people judging you, or you're worried about people being overly critical or you being overly critical to yourself, then you may be using introversion as a cover-up for social anxiety. I did this for a little while as well. I thought, oh, I'm just introverted. This is just what makes me more comfortable. But in reality, I avoided large-scale social situations because I just didn't want to feel judged. I didn't want to feel criticized by other people, or as was much more likely, I didn't want to be criticized by myself. So I would encourage you to really take a look at whether or not your self-identification as a introverted person is because you genuinely are introverted, or if it is a cover-up for shyness and social anxiety, as it was for me, and as I have observed in a lot of people that I have worked with, a lot of people that I've interacted with over the years. And the good thing is that you might overcome your social anxiety and shyness with time and still realize that you're quite an introverted person, and that is fine, because at that point, that is you expressing your authentic self. That is you accepting yourself as you are. But if you are hiding the way that you work and hiding the way that you truly feel, then that is not self-acceptance, that is not authenticity, and therefore you will struggle to build confidence. Even as an introvert, you can continue to build your confidence through practicing social skills, learning how to develop more emotional control, learning greater levels of self-acceptance, picking up the tools and coping strategies to deal with situations where life might get a little bit overwhelming. You can still build your confidence as an introverted person, but not if you are hiding who you are, not if you are just using introversion as an excuse for your social anxiety or shyness problems. Ultimately, I don't want you to feel pressured to become a high energy, loud, center of attention type person if that's not what you truly want. Everyone's definition of true confidence for themselves is going to be very, very different. My definition of self-confidence is going to be miles different from your definition of self-confidence, which is going to be miles different from your best mate's definition of true self-confidence. But it all comes down to accepting who you are and then expressing that in an authentic way. And that really is all I've got to say on how to be a confident introvert. It is accepting that, yeah, you don't really like to be the center of attention, that you do value being quiet, and that, when you do go out and you have to exert yourself socially, yes, sometimes you're going to need to take a little bit of time to recharge and revitalize yourself. That's absolutely fine. To a certain extent, that's how I am now, although my amount of days when I am extroverted is a little bit higher than the days where I feel introverted, because again, remember that it exists on a very context bound scale. But if you're more introverted than extroverted, then you can still work on your confidence through learning how to accept yourself and then present yourself in an authentic way. And again, I've got videos on that, so I'll leave some in the description. I'll have some pop up in the cards above my head throughout the video as well. But otherwise, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you found it useful, make sure to leave a like on the video because it really helps out the channel. If you have any thoughts, any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. And if you are new to the channel, if you're liking this kind of content, then make sure that you do subscribe to the channel as well. I am putting out 5 videos every single week, every single Monday to Friday, and we're going to be going up to daily uploads very, very soon. So if this is the kind of content that you're interested in, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. But otherwise, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos here on this channel very soon.